Let's go.
Welcome in to You Got Served podcast, season 6, episode 5, I think. I didn't screw up this time with my mic and went on a 5-minute rant. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Let's go to the comments. There's already 3 of them there. There we go. Donald Julio Val. I don't know who you are, but let's go. Got a special guest tonight, T. Carp. Probably one of the most liberal, diehard Democrats I've ever met.
Liberal
I'm just
diehard.
kidding.
No, I heard
Just kidding.
that.
We got T Carp. He's one of the best conservatives around. He's going to jump on here and talk about the history that was made this past Monday.
Oof.
We're going to break it all down from 2020 on. Of course, Trump's 2024 victory and the inauguration, the shithole of Joe Biden presidency, the what would you call it? What would be a nice way to say Kamala Harris? The bullet dodge, the dumpster fire that we dodged. Carp, opening statement, what you got?
My friend, we have you've watched the Marvel comics where the timeline convergences. Like we missed 2 like major things in history that we could have gone down just crazy paths. And I'm glad we are on the chosen timeline, the sacred timeline we are on. And my goodness, it's wild.
The fact that we have come this far as all the things that we thought from COVID, the fact that we were told when and how and how to get masked up and social distance and being told that everything is racist, to being hired because of the color of your skin, and NFL and sports and basketball and NBA and our entertainment and I'm going to say it for the 3rd straight week. I've said this for 3 straight weeks about our entertainment. Things are better when you can joke about anything. And I think we're getting to the point with Elon Musk taking over Twitter, that you have seen a tide that we can say things, especially if you follow me on Twitter. We have seen a tide on numerous things, and we're going to try to break that all down if we can remember most of it.
Oh.
So, Carp, we
Let's
got a
go.
lot to talk about. We're 3 minutes in. What do you want to start? What do you want to do? What do you want to?
Man, let's go just real quick and talk about and reflect on like you said, COVID and whatnot. And we're probably already going to be taken down on Facebook for that. But hey, Zuckerberg went on Joe Rogan and said that he's not going to do that anymore, and that was all the Bidens.
That's another thing I want to speak on.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've got it on the list. Man, looking back, like you said, just to start with 4 years of absolute craziness, like absolute craziness. We look back at what happened in March of 2020, or probably before that. Was it? Yeah, it was before that, and it just absolute just craziness with the COVID thing, and I believe it all started with that. Like everybody got um, just crazy believing what you're told on the media. And I think that's a big thing that we learned that I feel like woke everybody up. I remember when I was on a podcast with you and DR, and he said 2020 broke me. And I think 2020 broke a lot of people on the mindset of that they don't turn on NBC, CBS, CNN and absolutely believe anything they're told anymore. And all the people that you thought were conspiracy theories or conspiracy theorists, now, like I'll have people that come into my office where I work and talk about things that would have been crazy to talk about 4 or 5 years ago. Do you see that at your office?
So that's a good point. And nowadays, you can bring up Trump. You can bring up the word Trump, and maybe that's part of living in a red state. So maybe take that with a grain of salt. But you know, you can say that COVID was. I'm not going to say fake. COVID was real. I had COVID, but
Absolutely.
the whole rules, regulations, what they wanted us to do, the whole. I'll never get this out of my head. The whole walking down the grocery aisles and the arrows. It's like COVID can't get you if
If you
you're
walk this way.
walking this way compared to this way,
Yep.
or you take your mask off at the restaurant when you go to eat, or you put it on to go leave. It's like all that shit has come to the surface. Even Fauci has admitted. I call him Fraudchi.
Yeah, fraud. We'll
Um,
get to that.
yeah. So I called this shit before most people did, and then the people that was blamed to be conspiracy theorists. You hear that Adam or Alex Jones was right jar.
Yeah.
Well, conservatives were right jar is what we need. You put a dollar in it, and you're going to have a
Yeah.
ton of things proven wrong. And COVID was one of them. And then you start to see it shift. Well, you move into the election of 2020.
Yep.
And let's talk about that. Let's start there, for instance.
Yeah, so the election of 2020, you have a lot of people, you have a lot of things. I remember staying up that night. You did too. Staying up that night, I'm texting dad, taking pictures. Like he's got, 100,000 vote leads in some areas, 60, 50,000 vote leads. No big deal. It's a win. There's no way Sleepy Joe from his basement has won this. And then you see that, we've all seen that J curve and then this massive uptick. And then Biden's the president. Biden wins. You have all these mail in ballots. And, conservatives said for years, we was like, this thing's stolen. This thing's crazy. And then you have January 6th. And to where people took a stroll through the Capitol, and it was made to
Emphasis on
be
stroll.
yeah, it was made to be it was made to be like the craziest thing in the world. People got put in jail with no trials, by the way, no trials for indefinite
That's
periods of time.
fascism, by the way.
That
That's
is
fascism.
fascism. That is complete and utter political fascism, where they take their political dissidents and just put them in jail, no trials, nothing. So,
So, for instance, I remember the 16 election,
mhm,
and I remember Hillary having everything behind her. She had the big tech, she had the media, she had the channels, she had the social media, she had Google, she had everything. And I remember at the time, I was one of the very few that noticed. Let me back it up. So I noticed two things about Trump in 16. I
mhm.
noticed his rallies blew away anything Hillary put together. And I remember thinking or seeing Trump's social media interactions. I know you might be like, well, that's pretty dumb. Like everybody has, 40,000 retweets. Well, when Trump has, 50,000 retweets on a tweet, and I go to Hillary Clinton's Twitter page, and she has barely 1,000,
Yeah,
and the
that
whole
makes a
social
difference.
media back then was based towards her. I noticed something that nobody else noticed. So fast forward to 20, big rallies.
Hmm.
Trump is all time popular. We've seen him in action. All that thrown in, and then you see, and it's time for election night, and Trump is doing good, doing good, doing good. And correct me if I'm wrong, but was it Arizona, the one controversial one at the end that night?
Yeah, Arizona was super controversial. You had Arizona, and then you had all, like the seven swing states were really controversial too. You had Georgia. Yeah, that was like the pipes bursting. Remember that crap?
Yeah. Well,
You
I
had
remember
that.
another thing that made me mad that night was Fox News. called the election before anybody. And I'm like, it's not over. They're still counting ballots. But okay, so Biden gets in the White House, complete and utter disaster.
Oh
Obviously,
gosh.
January 6th. So touch on January 6th, for instance. You know,
So
the left wingers compared it to their 9/11,
oh yeah,
which is
it was.
absolutely insane.
So the thing about January 6th is, you know, Trump's there and he's telling people to fight like it matters, but do it peacefully. Protest peacefully. He said that over and over and over again. And by the way, that's your constitutional right, is to protest or air your grievances with the government peacefully. And the Constitution gives you the right to do it not peacefully too, just being real with you. But it's like you have that, and then you have these folks that, yeah, they broke some windows. Yes, they went in there and took a dump on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Is that so? Is that locking up for life? Really? Is taking a dump on Nancy Pelosi's desk? But that's what they did, and by gosh, it was the leftist 9/11. Now, do I think that you should have got maybe a misdemeanor? Okay, like 3 months in jail, whatnot. Not indefinite amount. Not put away like some felon. Not not FBI knocking at your doors. You know that's what pisses me off too, is the FBI can go find all these January Sixers, but we can't get these. We can't figure out or charge or anything happens. We still don't know, by the way, anything about that dude that almost blew Trump's head off, in Pennsylvania, and we'll get to that too.
We'll get to that. So as far as January 6th go, let me ask you this.
Yeah,
Obviously, you're a huge conspiracy theorist guy. Would that be correct to say?
that would be correct. I dabble in it.
Okay. Do you think some of the January Sixers was paid actors?
Absolutely, 100%. I think you had either about 30 or 40 paid actors. 30 or 40 paid actors can get a crowd stirred up. I mean, okay, think about this. You're at a UT football game and you have, you know, 10 dudes in section YY or whatnot, and they start saying stuff and getting the crowd kind of riled up. You know how a crowd can get riled up. You know how a chant gets started. It's super easy, and you got emotions high. You get a couple paid actors, and we're lucky that mob did, just like I said, just kind of walk through the Capitol. You see what I'm saying?
And here's part of the dumbassery, and we're gonna call out a bunch of the dumbassery from the left. And one of their things that drove me insane. Okay, me and you, we're East Tennessee boys. We work 9 to 5. We pay our bills. You're building a family. I'm trying to build a family.
You'll get there.
Um, we we um, we we're worried about what we're going to eat at night. We're worried about our online internet DM group. We're worried about the UT Vols. Why would the Democrats keep bringing January 6th up at these debates when in reality it doesn't affect people like me and you? We're the leader of this country, and we showed that in this past election.
Right.
We
I,
run this country. No matter what liberal elite, Mark Hamill cucks, B-list actors and actresses want to call us racist, we
yeah,
run this country.
we
So tell
do.
me why the Democrats kept pushing January 6th in these debates.
Because what happened is HR ran amok. And listen to me here. You have all these folks that believe what these people coming out of college are, that these HR princesses and all this stuff, and these companies and these people, they believed them. And hear me out when I say this. It's they believed it in the fact of, oh, like we're seeing this on our polling, or we're seeing this here, so it has to be true. They don't actually get out to where you and I work. They're not actually there. They're not actually in middle America doing what we do and talking to us. They don't do it. They
They have
live in
zero
their
clue.
they have zero clue. They're so confined to where they're at, and they've created such an echo chamber for themselves with the Facebooks, with the Instagrams, with all that, and they created these walls, and they're so shocked, like again they were in 2016, that people don't believe what they believe. I think that's the problem. Is there's such an
Have you
echo
ever
chamber with them.
you've seen the Truman Show, right?
Oh yeah,
Where
that's a good one.
Jim Carrey is living his everyday life in a bubble. That's what the Democrats think.
Oh yeah,
That's what the Mark Hamills and the Rob Reiners and the Keith Olbermanns think. They have no clue what it's like living paycheck to paycheck.
they
No
don't.
one cares. The average, and this is going to be terrible to say,
No,
but
you're
the
good.
average person doesn't care about racism. They don't care about LGBTQXYZ
No,
rights. They care about living from paycheck to paycheck and paying their bills. And they
absolutely.
push this rhetoric
They
constantly. And
that
another thing, they push this rhetoric on your kids
oh,
constantly.
absolutely, man.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's everywhere.
That's one of the reasons why that I don't have my kids in public schools is because and I pay the money that I do pay for them to go to a private schools. I didn't want that rhetoric to be pushed. I think that the normal person, so you and I, you're family focused. You don't have a family yet, but that's a goal of yours. That's a goal of, hey, I'm getting this house. I'm got my cars paid off. I'm trying to do better there. And that's what your mindset is. These folks don't want families. They don't believe in the family. They don't. So their time consists like their love, their goal in life is to be as good as they can at their job, and whatever that may be. They love that. They love money. They love making themselves feel good, buying whatever they want, and then after that, it's their phone, whatever social media thing is, and that is their self-worth. So I think that's the big problem is you have no one, they don't care. They don't care about families, they don't care about anything like that, because most of them when it comes to liberals, there are you know, you sh- you show me a liberal lady that's focused on DEI and woke, I'll show you someone whose family disowned them, or didn't, or has daddy issues or mommy issues,
I can see that.
or
Okay,
or is on
so
20 antidepressants, or you know what I'm trying to say.
so let's fast forward to the Biden administration. So obviously, they believe in check boxes. You got to check. You got to check
Yep.
off a certain, you know, life.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what you would call it, like a stereotype is a good word for it.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously, the press secretary, a lesbian black woman, the health person,
Oh my
a
God, dude.
transgender, overweight transgender man. Um,
What was
you
that one
know,
dude that had the lipstick but the beard and shaved head?
that was
He
the one that
literally
was
looked like me with like lipstick on it, like
that
but
was the one
lipstick and wearing a
that was
dress.
the one that was stealing all the luggage from the airports.
Oh my
Uh,
God, yes,
but I don't
yes.
know what that person did in the administration.
No clue. Remember we had the trannies that were basically took their tops off and were flashing at the White House. We had
That was
that.
something like an Easter, wasn't it?
Oh
Was
yeah,
that
yeah. Easter. That's
that was like an Easter? Okay,
y-
so talk about his. So obviously, oh, where do we begin here?
I
So
mean it's so much.
it is so much. So obviously, the cost of living went up. You
Yes.
know,
So
gas went
one
up, groceries went up.
so so let's talk about the gas real quick. You know
Okay,
what?
go
You
ahead.
know what Biden did on day one was he stopped the Keystone pipeline and shut that down. He shut down that. Do you remember like that first day where when it went, or that first week it was like $2 and it smashed up to 4.50,
Hmm.
$5,
Yeah.
and people were sitting there arguing, oh, it really doesn't make that big of a difference, and it's like, man, it's like $400 or $500 more a month, because
Yeah.
we like literally laid out the math for them, and
Y-
liberals would argue that like, oh, it's really not that much. It's like, yeah, you don't live, these people don't live in reality, Leland. They don't.
And
But
then they were talking about how when Trump's in office, if the gas prices magically go high, it's the president's fault. If
Yes,
Biden's in office,
it was
oh,
Trump's fault.
the president has nothing to do. Watch your arm there. We'll
Yes,
get we'll get that in a second. um, if Biden's in office, the president doesn't control the gas prices, but Trump does when he's in office. I think it obviously all ties together.
it's all, man, it's all hypocritical. And I'm not saying that Republicans aren't hypocrites. That they are. There's a lot of Republicans are scumbags and whatnot. But it's so I can't stand when someone just absolutely, like you said, like does these mental gymnastics with politics, where it's like, oh, that's Trump's fault. Oh, that's not Biden's fault. It's like, come on, man. Like the gas prices going up absolutely go into the Keystone Pipeline and that whole new Green Deal bull crap, where we're doing all this stuff. Oh, and by the way, that's still a little in play. TVA might shut down, might do some rolling blackouts again. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
They might do that again as well to try to remember for to try to keep the power, the power usage
Oh, I
down. We don't
remember
want to.
that. I remember when they did that here.
Yeah. So I mean, there's
So
just so much.
yeah, okay. So what were some other things that stood out during his tenure? Obviously, he was never put in front of the media.
No,
He
never
he,
had to
he was
question anything.
always scripted.
Yep.
And if it was something big, like a big speech, you didn't see him all day until that very moment. So he was obviously napping, right?
He was.
So the biggest thing that was scary was to think that if any given point, and you're all about survival and you're all about the survivalist thing. I know we give you shit in group, but
Yeah,
like
it's okay.
it's what if something happened major, a war on our street, a terrorist attack, and our commander in chief is in diapers and napping. Like,
It's man, it's so scary to think about, but it's scary to think about that someone that we didn't elect has the power to decide that, because we quickly found out that Biden's not the one pushing the buttons. Like, he's not in charge.
let me
And
ask
then
you this: do you think Jill was, or do you believe in the conspiracy that Obama was?
I think even Tulsi Gabbard came on and said that it wasn't the Bidens, it was Obama, it was that ilk, that those people that were kind of above the Democratic Party, those high ranking level elites, those were the people in charge, that pulling the strings. Now, I don't know if it was one person. I think it was a group, or a lot of the conspiracy guys like to call it like a cabal of people. But I think that was very evident that the cabal or that group was in charge. And because, see, Biden didn't even know that he had stepped down. They announced that crap on Twitter, on X. Have you ever, golly, we'll get into that. We're way down. I'm jumping forward, but
There's
it's
so
just absolutely
much.
crazy.
There's so much. Okay, so as far as the health of him and having and being scary of anything could happen, but your commander in chief is not all there, and all the stuff.
I mean, it's
Um,
stressful.
we obviously got killed when it came to what world trading or the business side of America,
Dude, we got rigged.
giving giving money to other countries, getting
Dude,
ripped off with trade deals.
like, yes, so you get into that Ukraine and Russia thing. Like, how much money did we give to Ukraine? How, I mean, billions and billions. Man, they were given an aid package a week, it seemed like. And my concern is you look at Ukraine as how much money was getting then funneled back into these guys'
I
pockets.
was just about to say that. It's funny you said that. So
Like,
who are the ones that was getting their pockets lined up?
that all the ones on CNN and NBC and Fox, saying, "Oh, we've got to help them. We've got to
Yeah,
help them." Those guys were getting the money. Those guys were getting a payday every single time.
yeah.
Like, you can't, like, what is that? There's one dude, I can't think of his name. Uh heck, I just can't remember. But those guys that you would see that are just sitting there begging us to do it, saying we got to do it, we got to support Ukraine. Those guys are getting the biggest paycheck.
Yeah.
My pastor likes to put it as you throw a rock into a pack of dogs, the one that yelps is the one that got hit.
Oh,
Same
of course.
concept.
So, of course. All rigged up, all crooks. You know,
All of them.
Trump talks about draining the swamp. By the way, he didn't push that this much. He didn't push that this time around. The whole draining the swamp thing.
I don't know
There,
how much he can, to be honest with
yeah,
you.
yeah. So, okay, back to Biden. So, you know, for instance, world leaders.
Hmm.
Trump went and met with Kim Jong Un. Trump went and met with Putin. Did you ever see? And AI doesn't count, but did you ever
Yeah,
see Biden shake hands with any of these people?
I think one or two of them. I think what is it? Biden went to the Pope and crapped himself, or something like that. Remember that?
I think I
Remember?
do.
And my thing is like, how bad did he crap himself for the media not to cover it up?
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
falling down, the constant falling down. Remember the bike ride that
oh,
he had?
oh yes. It started getting to the point where they were like, we can't let him out like without supervision and making sure that he's like he's so juiced up on whatever drugs they were giving him to be juiced up on to be on TV. It got ridiculous. It really did. And it got to the level, in my opinion, it got to the level of elder abuse. Like
I was
genuinely.
going to ask you that also. Do you think off that, I'm going to base this off that. Is Jill a villain? Jill
Yes,
Biden?
Jill is
She's a
definitely a
terrible
villain.
person, right?
Yeah, Jill. I put Jill on that level of Hillary, like of that Hillary Clinton level. Like once, like is so has that lust for power. Maybe not like spotlight power, but lust for that power. You know what I'm saying?
Because she wanted to go back, and they
Oh
were
yeah.
mad. They were mad they got debunked. So let's fast forward to that. Let's
Yep.
fast forward to when. So the first debate was in Atlanta, I think, right?
I I, I can't. I think so. So
I
that
think it
remember
was in
that?
Atlanta
Yeah,
because
you have that
I remember Biden going to the Waffle Houses afterward or whatever.
something like that. But
So they pushed him out there to the debate. He napped all day. He couldn't put that was when Trump one of his I saw a TikTok yesterday, they had all of his debates, his best debate moments. His one of the debates this year he said, I don't even know what he's saying, and I don't think
and
he
neither do
knows what
you,
he's
and
saying.
he don't either.
So
Trump.
let's start there. So I'm pretty sure that was the one that was in Atlanta.
Mhm.
He did terrible. Okay. Trump obviously was very calm. We would always be worried about Trump being
Yeah, being
too
like crazy.
aggressive. Don't you
Yes,
think this time around that the
he's
insults went down, the
he
hot
is
fingers on Twitter,
right.
that
He's
all went
chill.
away?
He's a lot more chill. He's a different Trump. He's a little bit more cool, calm, and collected. I think that um, I think that we'll get into the assassination attempts, but I think some things really changed in him, really changed in him, and I think that he did a good job listening to his advisors on the Biden ones, where basically the whole thing is he had to sit down and shut up, and he couldn't talk, and that was the best strategy that the Democrats ever had for the Republicans is to make Trump shut up
He
and to let
basically
Biden hang himself, and he
they
did.
basically said run the ball, punt and play defense and don't turn the ball over, right?
Yes.
So this might be I don't know if you feel the same way. Obviously, me and you more are different in the sense of the way we interact and the way like I like controversy and I like the fact that Trump calls Pocahontas or like I love the trolling aspect. So I don't
Right.
know if you'll agree with me on this, but I remember last year a lot of people were like, "Man, or the last election, Trump, man, I wish Trump would put that phone down, or I wish Trump would stop with the insults." I personally think that if it wasn't for Twitter and him roasting Jeb Bush on stage, that I don't know if he would have gotten elected. So this time around was completely different, and obviously he won the election, so it obviously worked. But what was your thoughts on his way of thinking and way of going about it? I mean, do you like the trolling, or I
I
mean,
I don't like the trolling necessarily when I don't. I don't like the trolling that much. Sometimes I mean sometimes I do. There was times where he just absolutely trolled the crap out of, like you said, the Bushes, whatnot. And he should have. Man, I'm so sick and tired of the Bush family. They're the ilk of Obama. They are in that world group where they don't really believe in America. They believe in, globalism and all that stuff. Where I don't like them, and they deserve to be trolled. So I feel like you're right in the sense of the people that got trolled deserve to be trolled, but I don't necessarily like it. Just, the spray and pray
you want him to act
trolling.
like an adult, right? I mean, you just
Right,
want him
act
to
like an adult,
act
but
like you've been
be
there,
able
act
to
like you're a president.
right, but be able to have that right hook of that troll when you need to. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And I think that's he's instead of just swinging at everybody, he's a little bit more focused, if that makes sense.
he stepped back. He let Biden kill himself at the debates. So the day after the debates, everybody saw. See, if you remember correctly, leading up to that debate, everybody wondered what Biden was like, and they kept him from the public eye so much that
Yes.
once you got to the debate, you couldn't hide him anymore.
Yeah, you
When
couldn't
they had
hide
to,
him.
so when they strolled him out there, it was a complete and utter disaster, and they panicked, and that'll lead into this. They replaced him.
They replaced him with a candidate who had never won any election other than a state election. Never won anything, and that is my biggest problem. So Elon had came in, by the way. Elon did a show on Joe Rogan, okay, and Elon talked about this. And Elon's big conspiracy that he said that if you have anything against this or can prove me wrong, do it. His thing is they were shipping and flying illegals into swing states, okay? Because swing states only go like literally 50, 60,000 votes. He said you ship enough illegals into those swing states that primarily vote Democrat. You now win you can win all those swing states, and you don't have to win many, but just those swing states, like three or four of them. Congratulations, you're never going to lose another election. And Democrats have already shown that it does not matter who their Democratic constituents want, because Bernie beat out Hillary and they didn't care. They used these super delegates. Do you remember that crap?
I
They
do.
use these
I do.
super delegates in the Democratic Party. So basically, the Democratic Party can nominate anybody the heck they want to, and basically at that point you have no more elections. It's all fugazi. So let's say that they wanted to nominate you, Leland, as the Democratic leader. Okay, they know they're going to win because they've got all the swing states now because they've flown in all that. So all you have to do is win the Democratic primary, and if you just get in good with the delegates, you're going to win. And they showed that um, with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris never won an election at all, and then she's front runner for the presidency. How is that okay? How does anybody not see that that is literally the elites choosing what puppet they want? And she was clearly the DEI choice. She was a black female or whatever female she was, because remember how she was Asian one day and whatnot. And Trump even
Yeah.
said that.
Shit, I forgot about that.
Remember that girl that played
So,
that played on The Office, had her on, and they were all talking about eating Indian food and how they grew up, in Indian families. And then now that Kamala was black and African American, and it's like it's all about looks. It's all about the
the
optics
check
of it, not
boxes.
the realities of it.
So that was great info right there. So remember when was it a Trump tweet or something? That's what got the controversy about her race. because
Yeah.
someone called her black or something. I can't remember the whole deal. Was it Trump?
I don't know if it was Trump, but someone called out the fact. I think she tweeted out something about her being black or something like that, and then Trump or someone else had said, "No, I thought you were Indian because of this, and that was your race." And then Trump kind of picked up on it, and he said
He
something about it in the debate.
he said something about African American or something.
Right.
And then they all went off the deep end and said that's not her race or it is or what. It went all back and forth. And then
Right.
you had 1,000 videos come out of her saying this, this, and this. Okay, so Kamala gets pushed up to the top. And by the way, back to your point about the Elon thing, the theory there. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if that happened, you would never see a Republican in the White House again, right?
Absolutely, you wouldn't, because again, you get 3 or 4 of those swing states, it's over, buddy.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's when it's over, and I mean it's over. It's
Yeah.
always been those swing states. The Pennsylvanias, that the Rust Belt type of states.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is win those, man. All you have to do is really win those, because the other states are dyed in the wool Democrat, dyed in the wool Republicans. It's
Because you're
just
never
not
going to
going to
win New
happen.
York. You're never
Right?
going to win California. So you have to get Texas, right?
Oh yeah, you have to
And
get Texas,
you have to get Georgia,
Texas. You have to get Georgia, Pennsylvania,
Michigan,
Michigan, uh,
Ohio.
Iowa, and there's some more. And it's when we call it swing states, it's these states that are extremely close to 50-50, and we're talking about 10, 50, maybe 100,000 votes through the whole state. So, and you don't have to put illegals in one town. You put them in multiple towns, because multiple townships, like a county, you get a 20,000 vote, 10,000 vote swing. Ta-da! You've won the county, and you
Yeah.
win all those, and then you win all those electorates for that county, or that county goes to that person. So it's all strategic, and that's why they didn't want any voter IDs or anything like that. By the way, remember how all that crap, like how racist it was to, how dare you, Leland, for asking someone for their ID?
I remember.
I argued with this one dude on Twitter. It was like, these people can't get an ID. They're racist. They can't even, I was like, you can't walk to the DMV if you don't have a car. How dare you? They don't have shoes. I mean, it was just craziness.
But you'll get carded for cigarettes or
Yes.
a DVD or whatever. I mean, it's just okay. Let's switch gears to Kamala now. So she gets pushed up.
Mhm.
Not one person voted for her dumbass.
Not one.
So I get people all the time. We make fun of her all the time. Probably the single worst candidate in U.S. American history, and they prop her to the top. And I just remember, I'm gonna use Mark Hamill again. I'm gonna the C-list actors. All of a sudden, we're behind Kamala. We're gonna get behind her. We're gonna beat Trump, or we're gonna take down this fascist dictator. Well, she was terrible.
She was.
She couldn't speak off the teleprompter. I remember I chuckled at this the other day. Somebody called her the cackler, which
Yeah.
sounds like a terrible Batman villain.
Oh gosh, yeah, she cackled terribly.
So cringy. The dancing, the smiling, the laughing. Remember that video she did, Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round? She was
It was terrible.
I mean, she couldn't do anything. She couldn't rally anybody. She couldn't go. Could you imagine giving her the nuclear codes?
Oh no, I couldn't. She was terrible. She was just the epitome of a DEI hire. That's what it was. We are going to choose someone because of their race and because of their gender over their merit. And
did you see the article about her today?
No, I haven't. What did it say?
She's blaming her husband why she lost.
It's got to be a man's fault. It's
It
always the
was.
man's fault.
Always. So the one check mark that she didn't box off was the lesbian one, but she was married to a white dude.
How
And now
dare
she's
you know?
now
How dare
she's
that white dude?
blaming now she's blaming the white dude, just like Hillary Clinton did. Hillary
Yeah.
Clinton blamed everybody. She blamed the media. She blamed the
She blamed
deplorables.
Facebook.
She
I mean,
blamed Facebook. She blamed everything. And she did her tour. And you watch, I'm going to predict this. Hillary Clinton went on a book tour, blaming everybody but herself. She did a podcast. Watch this. Give it 6 months or less, and Kamala Harris will be on a book deal, blaming racism and misogyny and all this crap why she didn't win the presidency.
Dude, 1,000%. 1,000%. It will happen. CNN, NBC, they'll all pick it up like, you're right, Kamala. It was the race. I mean, just they'll go all in.
But she can't admit that she was just a terrible person. Okay, so my buddy here, he made it good. I'm gonna show the comment here.
Yeah.
So Wells, what a terrible.
What? Oh my God!
I completely forgot of him. Thanks, Orange Bud. I completely forgot about this terrible vice presidency or vice president pick, where he put tampons in the boys' bathroom.
Jeez, yes.
He would walk out on stage with his little wave, you know, his little gay wave. Terrible. That's their pick?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The Democrats better be happy that JD Vance is just the vice president. That dude pants Tim Walz so bad, and that Tim Walz might have voted for JD Vance after that. Like, I'm serious.
That was a great debate. JD Vance. JD Vance. We'll talk about him in just a second, but
yeah.
But Waltz was abysmal. Them two together was abysmal. I remember some of the rumors about who was she going to pick, and you know, was she going to pick like Hillary or Michelle Obama and she picks this goober out of left field that no one's ever heard of that puts tampons in the boys' bathroom. Tampon Tim.
Tampon Tim. You know, it's just absolutely crazy. Remember, he was like, sometimes, and the dude like had a terrible record where he got caught lying, and to the point of the liberal media could not even like cover up his lies.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I'm just a goober. Sometimes, you know, however he said it.
What was that lie about? It was over something. I can't remember.
He was in China or something.
I know he was. Yeah.
He was overseas. Like that.
He was overseas and he lied about something. He said, well, I was just, you know, and he kind of BS'd his way through it. And they didn't even call him out on it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if Trump lied something about that?
They would, he would be, he's already, you know, Satan to them, but he would have been, they would have never let it go. They would have interrupted him over and over again, fact checked him to death. God, I cannot stand the fact check BS too in those debates. They never fact check, you know, Kamala on her stuff. They would always just fact check Trump.
That one,
they're not eating the cats, Mr. Trump. He's like, they're eating the cats and dogs.
Now they only debated once, right? Kamala and Trump.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the one where they kept on fact checking him, and they didn't. And he's even like, dude, why aren't you fact checking her? Yeah. She said something. I can't remember what it said, but it was a flat out lie, and they didn't say anything.
Yep.
Okay, so we got Kamala down. Let's fast forward to the assassination attempt.
Yeah.
So, first off, let me ask you this: where were you when you first heard, and what was your initial thoughts?
So I think I was at home, and I think I was in the DM message with you, or we were in a just like a like a group chat, and I think someone put it on our group chat that he had just been assassinated, and I think your and our first words were, "No effing crap," you know, like, don't joke about that or something like that, and they're like, "No, it's happened," and I literally turned on like Twitter or X at the time. I was like, "Holy crap!" I called my buddy who was home, and I said, "Dude, he just got that." And he's like, "I'm watching NBC right now. They're not saying it." I'm like, "You watch in a minute." And he said about a minute and a half after that, it came on. And
go ahead.
No. And I mean, you just look at that. That's where I was. And it was it was just like complete and total holy crap. I want to use bigger words than that, but I try. It's a family. This is a family show.
Holy shit. So
But
I was out to eat we were at Rosario's, the steak place.
oh my god, it's
And
so good. By the way, hold on.
yeah,
That I eat till I get the meat sweats at that place. It's
dude,
so good.
I try to find extra spots in my stomach to douse that
Oh,
shit. It's so damn good.
that dude comes by and they bring those little. They're like glazed bananas, and you're like, yeah, I'll get a
The
few cards. Yeah.
pineapple is good. Like
Oh, that was.
you have your little token. It's always green. It's like
Oh yeah, it's always
you
green.
I'm always green. Like you always tell them to
And
keep filling the table.
and you're just like keep bringing it, and you're almost I mean you feel so gluttonous like when you're there, you're just stuffing it in, and then you
I
go
tell
to
you
the
what,
bathroom just to sit down and just breathe for a
I was
second
about
to
to
come
say
back out.
that dump the next day I took was all time. I mean, it
Oh
was
yeah.
so
Anyway,
okay. So I was
Rosario's is phenomenal.
at Rosario's, and when you first hear about it, let me ask you this: do you remember when? So, do you remember when I think Trump was like under the airplane hangar doing a rally, and they came to all the Secret Service came to his aid and kind of covered him up? It was when it was before 2016,
No,
and it
I
really
don't remember
wasn't.
that one.
It really Google it or something later, but
Hmm.
he was like in an airport or something like some kind of rally, and uh,
Hold
maybe
on,
there was some.
let me Google. You keep talking. Hold on.
Maybe there was a pop, 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 and they came to him. So when I first heard about that, the assassination this past year, I thought that's what it would be. Just, somebody heard something, nothing major happened, and the Secret Service came out there, covered him up, and that was it, right?
Right.
So then I'm on social media, and they said, well, he fell down. They grazed his ear, and I'm like, wait, what? Like they actually made contact with him, like they got him.
Yeah.
So I got on social media, and of course, social media was buzzing. You see the video, and you're just like, is he okay? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he gets up and he makes the iconic fight,
Like
fight,
the
fight
fight,
thing,
fight.
and then the picture. So let's talk about that for instance. So,
Man.
so first off, give me put on your aluminum foil hat here. What's your take? What's your take as What's your
Yeah.
take as conspiracy guy from that? Obviously, the FBI was involved, right?
So here's my view of it, and I
We
got
got
this view
satellites
from
linking up
yeah,
here.
yeah, exactly. Here's my view from it, and I got this from Mark Ardesian, who's also on Joe Rogan. He's phenomenal. Used to be on the board of Facebook, so extremely smart guy, like extremely smart guy. And he said it's one of two things. It's either this guy was a lone wolf, and he's crazy, okay, and it was a major malfunction of the Secret Service, like incompetence of the Secret Service. So that's one thing, okay, or it was a conspiracy and that allowed to happen. It was either one of those two things. Both are terrible, but which one is worse is what I'm going to ask you. Is it worse if it was a conspiracy, or is it worse if it was complete and utter incompetence by the Secret Service?
So, couple things here. Any other time, if there was whispers of something going on, even if it was a kid sending a text message at Powell High School, they're locking that place down, right?
Oh yeah.
So if there was whispers 30 minutes or 45 minutes before he went on stage, why in the hell would you let a former president of the United States
Up on stage like that. Yeah.
why would you let him go up there?
Why wouldn't you check the highest point around? Like last time I checked Pennsylvania, there's not a whole lot of damn mountains in Pennsylvania. I mean,
Yes.
it was a flat farmland. Like you always check the high ground, you always check the highest point, and you put a person on the highest point because of sniper fire. That's literally protection 101, like policing 101.
So
Um,
another thing, now you'll have to refresh my memory on a bunch of this. So another thing was he got in with a ladder, right?
yeah, so
He
he apparently climbed a ladder that either he had brought or was there on the building or something like
no
that.
one sees a goofy looking kid decked out in whatever or
Has an A,
ammunition
yeah,
or
has an
something
AR,
climbing up
all
a
that.
ladder.
Yeah, like no one sees it. I think someone did see it, and they were like, "Hey, we saw this really crazy dude doing this," and they were ignored, or like a policeman went up there, saw it, and then came down and said something,
Yeah,
and it was ignored.
yeah.
Like I'm to the point where I don't think it was incompetence. I do think it was allowed to happen. Let me put it to you that way. They had like they wound up a patsy, they wound up some dude, with whatever, you know, with whatever mind control BS that they have. And they do have this. Like this is not a conspiracy theory. The government in the 60s found a way to basically split someone's personality through trauma. Like we've all seen it in movies, and they tell you the truth in movies, by the way. They have this, again, you're going to think I'm crazy, but whatever their little rules are, they have to tell you what's going on. So they just tell you inadvertently in movies what's going on, but they split someone's personality. They found one of those patsies. They're like, you're going to do this, you're going to kill Trump. And they allowed that to happen. It was a 130-yard shot. Kids play for a novice. Hey, so Orange Blood, I actually made that shot the other day on a man-sized target, and actually, like, I think I posted on Twitter. I'll post it again to prove that it's a novice shot, a novice shot. Iron sights AR standing, and I hadn't shot in 2 years. My AR,
So
I absolutely nailed it.
do you believe that? Okay, do you believe that the sniper that shot him dead, the shooter,
Hmm.
he waited for a shot for Trump and then shot him to make it look like maybe, like I heard that was like a thing though. Like,
I,
did you hear
I,
about
I,
that? Like he let the guy shoot
I,
because you're
I
obviously if you're a sniper, you're up high
yeah, it's
too.
not for your pie. I think that's hard for me to say, and but I know either way it was allowed to happen. Either
Yeah,
way, they didn't get the green light to shoot the bad guy until shots were fired. I absolutely do believe that.
that's bullshit too.
I agree.
That's bullshit.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Trump turned his head. First of all, an
Miracle.
all-time, I don't even know how to put into words, close, like, he looks up at the thing about illegal immigration,
Yeah.
and it I mean, I just
I
can't
mean,
believe.
dude.
What's
So
your
Leland.
thoughts on that? The
So
shot.
so take your finger right now. So take your finger and put it to your ear, and then take your thumb and basically put that. Mine is less than a knuckle between my head and my. That's less than an inch away from getting your head effing blown off on live TV. They were going to blow his head off on live television.
Here's
Think
another
about that
cons-
for a second. Just
here's
just
another
just
cons-
go
here's
ahead.
another conspiracy. CNN didn't cover any of his rallies. That was the only rally they covered that they did live.
How about it? Man, the more I sit and dwell on it, the more it really looks to be they were they were going to do, it was going to be a public execution, man. And then so let's go down this terrible road for a second. Let's take that. Remember how I talked about at the beginning that we are on the sacred timeline? Let's go on that timeline
I
where
was just
Trump.
about to ask you that.
Let's get on that timeline where
Okay.
Trump gets his head blown off on CNN. What happens that day? Dude, it's on.
Do you
We're
think
not
there's
having
going
an
to be? Do you think
election.
there's a war in the streets?
Hell
Honestly,
yes. Hell yes, I
do you
do.
think conservatives are going ape shit?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think conservatives are going ape shit. I think because you at that point you don't have an election
So
anymore.
what do you do from the election? Do you go
Oh,
with JD Vance?
they'd suspend the election. There would be no election. There would be no election. You would have rioting in the streets. You would have You have people, I mean, rioting at the grocery stores. You know, full on meltdown. Um, it's absolute utter chaos. And then I believe you have countries or bad actors at countries, and then I think they come in and it gets really really bad. I think it would get really really bad. That's just mine, but I think it would
I
be
mean,
absolute berserk.
would it be everyday normal life with the war, or would we all be, you know, out in the streets
I don't
and
know. I genuinely don't know, Leland, because here's what happens too. You have the stock market absolutely crashing. Okay, boomers live on the stock market. That's what they do. That's where your retirement is. That's where my retirement is. It's based off of the S&P 500, 401ks, all that. Everyone's drops to half or nothing as soon as Trump gets his head blown off on CNN. I mean, dude, it just gets crazy. You just okay. You're going to show up to work tomorrow after Trump gets his head blown off? Any of your
no?
patients showing up?
I don't think so.
Exactly. They're all at Walmart getting every bottle of water they can. Walmart says we ain't got no more bottled water.
It's
Our
just a
truck.
crazy. It's something that you see in the movies.
Yeah.
It's something that you would never ever experience. I couldn't imagine watching it live. Like I said, I was out. We were all out to eat, or you hear
Something.
Trump's doing a rally. You say, "I'll catch the highlights of the shit he says later."
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I just couldn't imagine.
That's the
And
thing.
then
Yeah.
it was
I just can't.
complete and utter bullshit. And remember, Marsha Blackburn chased down that woman, or was at the RNC, the FBI, the leader of the FBI demanding answers, and Marsha
Good.
Blackburn and all of them like
Good
was
for her.
wondering. I mean,
Good for her.
they
Because
fired her.
well, and they should have. They should have for utter incompetence. But I think she's a fall person. I think again it was allowed to happen, and we're very close to seeing what happened with JFK. By the way, too, we're
Yeah,
very close to seeing, and that was allowed to happen or planned to happen or whatnot. There's no way. There's no way that dude killed killed Kennedy from the book suppository that shot with that rifle.
we talked about this in one of our conspiracy
There's
theories.
right, there's just no way. And by the way, like how he was like killed like 2 or 3 days after, like it's magic. All these patsies that kill these are always killed or something like that happens so they can't talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
So okay, um,
so we
I
went down
forgot
that
what
timeline.
I
The
forgot what I was gonna
first
say.
no, the first
So
assassination attempt. So
okay, so yeah, okay. Let me ask you this. So from a Trump standpoint, I made this comment a few days ago. How does he trust everybody around him? If I was him, I'd be eating everything out of a can. Back in the olden days, didn't kings like made their
they
jesters
had
have
a
a
yeah, they have a
taster or
taster.
something?
Yeah, they had a taster.
How does he live life knowing that maybe anything and everything could possibly take him down?
I think at this point, like he said in his inauguration, he thinks he's protected by God, and it's hard to argue that. It's hard to argue that it wasn't divine intervention that saved him. I mean, I don't think you can not argue that. So he believes as well as many others, as well as myself. I believe once you're protected by God, like you're not going to die unless it's God's time that you die, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So that's kind of it. So this guy says it would be total mayhem for this nation. Would be the false flag they need to enact martial law and put Kamala in office. Absolutely, Donald. That's exactly what I think.
So okay, let's fast forward some. So all that happens. The it goes on. Everything is fine. He continues to have rallies. Most of them. I don't think he ever had another outside rally.
I
Did
don't
he?
think he did either. I think
Okay.
his yeah, and
So
the
let's
golf
fast.
course one.
Yeah, there was another couple other ones, right, where they tried to get him.
Yeah, there was the golf course one. This dude had been sitting on the golf course with it like an AK for like a day or two, and they got like the Secret Service or somebody like found him too. So they had done that, and they had found him. I don't know if that one was a setup. I think that was actually a crazy person, but I think at this point you have if you call someone a Nazi and the end of America, and he's going to put you in prison camps, all this stuff. If you say all these things, there's going to be a few crazy people that believe it and take out action with it. So that's what you have to remember too.
So let's spend these last 10 or 15 minutes on the inauguration and going forward. So Trump gets up there. So, first off, I saw your tweet the other day about, do you think they really moved the inauguration inside because of the cold? Well, everybody knows why they did it.
Yeah,
And then you want to see these idiots say, well, in 2009, it was 30 degrees when Barack Obama was out there. Well, they didn't move it inside because of the cold, right?
absolutely.
So Trump gets up there. I'm sure you watched some of the inauguration. He gets up there to speech. He's calling out the whole Biden. They're sitting right behind him.
Oh gosh,
They're
it's so
calling
good. They have to
out.
sit there and listen.
They sit there and take it. You got the Clintons, you got the Bushes, you got the Obamas, you got Joe Rogan, you got JD Vance, you got
Oh, Elon.
Elon's up there,
Yep,
Barron Trump.
Barron Trump, like 6'7", looks like a monster all over these guys.
But it's funny how Barron Trump looked more mature than Elon.
God, absolutely.
So he gets up there and he put one of the best speeches ever that he's ever had, calling everybody out. So then Monday night, and by the way, you didn't see this in 4 years of Biden, but Trump is sitting there in the Oval Office and he's getting books handed to him to sign all these executive orders, and he has the media in here taking questions. Biden would have never done that. And Trump's just signing away all this shit, like getting shit done.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think you're going to see a different Trump from 16, where obviously you don't have to care about reelection? Not saying that Trump might go rogue, but you're going to see a more law-abiding, get shit done, don't care. Do you think that's true?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely think that you're going to see a more get shit done Trump. When he did his thing on Joe Rogan, he talked about how he was naive back in 2016, and now that he's in the White House again, it's like you can take a reflective look and be like, "This is what I need to do. This is how I need to do it. This is who I need to trust to do these things." I think you're going to get a get shit done president, and I like it. I like it. I love the first things of getting rid of all the DEI stuff
Get rid of it.
immediately out of the government. Just not. We're not screwing around. We're not. I think the worst thing that ever happened to America was when we started believing that someone's perception was reality. No, reality is reality, and 2 + 2 = 4, and those things, and it just feels like we're just getting out of the nonsense and back to truth, just basic truth of life.
It's pretty sad that he signed an executive order the other day of how there there's only two genders. That's how far from we've strayed
Yes,
from the light. Think about that for a second.
I, I, I
The president of the United States had to make an
has to
executive
say
order,
that. Yeah,
has to say that and then Harry Sisson goes on there to Piers Morgan, and they ask him, he said, how many genders are there? And Harry Sisson goes, well, there's at least two. Well, elaborate. Well, he didn't want to elaborate.
exactly. You know
I
why?
mean,
Because
it's insane to
it's a
think that
plethora to them.
it's
That's
like you
the
said, 2
thing.
+ 2 = 4. It's not that 2 + 2 could be 4, or it could
Yeah,
be 5,
it's at
or it
least
could be
4.
3.
You
It's
know.
at least, well,
think it's at least 4.
2
We don't
plus
know.
2, there's facts. The facts of life
Correct.
is there's 2 genders, biology, all that shit, right? So stop, you know. So what's some things going forward that you would love to see Trump do? What's some things that you would that you don't want to see Trump trying to, you
Uh,
know,
so the one things that I want to see Trump do is continue to take people that were on the left, like the Joe Rogans, the Kennedys, the Elon Musk, all those. Because remember, Trump's supposed to be this big divisive president. I've never seen a guy pull so many people in from the opposite side than anybody. Trump's not as divisive as people think. I want to see him continue to do that. I want to see him continue to use those people that know more than him in certain aspects and say, go get this done, go get that done. Use his political opponents, that the people that were against him, to his advantage, like Ramaswamy and Vivek and all that stuff. I want to see him continue to do that. I want to see him go after the damn Fed. I want to see him put that to bed, like figure that out, like
and the deep state?
get that out of here, get that deep state crap out of here. You know, I don't know how he's going to do it because those guys are extremely powerful and have been very, very powerful for years. That's bloodline stuff. That's bloodline family stuff with the deep state. I don't know how he's going to do it, but hopefully he does. And I would just like to see him. It's going to be like eating our vegetables for the first year with these with these tariffs and stuff, because things will get higher. But man, we've got to get non-dependent on other countries. Like, we've got to be dependent on America again. So
We have to get back to ruling the roost. We have to get back to building the most powerful military border in
yes.
Western civilization. We have to get back to being USA, and we have to get back to being, you know, all
when,
this woke stuff has got to go. It's getting there.
when
Like
was
we're
it
getting
not
to the
okay to
point.
have pride in America, by the
It
way?
it's
when
what
when 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 was it not okay to think America was the best? Well,
yes.
like, because when we grew up in the 90s, dude, it was USA. We're number one. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Now it's
When,
offensive to say that.
yes, why? When did it get that way, and why?
No
I
clue.
I I think I think the election of Obama did that.
I've
And
mentioned that too. Oh, I believe that Obama was the president that got us to where we were as far as being offended. That's what started. Because if you think
yeah,
about it, all the movies and stuff started. When did he get in? 09?
yeah, 08, 09,
So
yeah.
me and you graduated from high school in 06, I think. And that was the
We're in
peak of like
college.
the movies.
Yeah, yeah.
And then 3 years later, you have 09, and when he gets in, and you started seeing a shift. And I remember, they do the whole gay marriage thing, and it's like, and
Remember,
everybody
all they wanted to
said,
do was be married.
I remember people saying that. Remember, there'll be more. They'll want to eventually marry their dogs or bang their dogs. Well, here we are with, you know, people in litter boxes in school and safe spaces and wanting to be minor attracted children and all this shit, all this pedo shit, all this drag queens and with your children and could you imagine your great grandparents showing
Man,
them the shit that we see nowadays, safe spaces and these drag queens and all this
uh,
shit and
they would.
pronouns and
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
I'd be embarrassed, dude.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
be embarrassed to go back 50, 60, 70 years and show our
Absolutely.
grandparents this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So one of the things that, and I'm going to branch off to this is,
Go ahead.
Trump is, we're not PC. We're not happy holidays anymore. We're Merry Christmas. We're, call each other queer and gay and, and, we give each other a hard time and we can say what we want on Twitter and not get banned for it. And if we want to say that COVID was fake, we can say COVID is fake. Like, don't
Right.
ban our accounts and That's what I want to get to. And I want the economy back to where it was. And I text you, or no, I didn't text you. We talked about it in group the other day about the housing market. And I mean, initially bought my house at 4% interest rate. And that's unheard of. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think you'll ever see that at that low.
No, I don't think you ever will either. I think 6% is probably as low as it'll get. And I feel bad for those people, man. I feel so bad
Look at
for
rent.
dude. I don't see how they survive.
I don't either.
They're renting $1,300, $1,500, $1,600 for an apartment, and I'm gonna be real with you. I bought my mortgage, and I think my mortgage was like $800, and I think like yours is maybe 900 to 1,000. And it's not, and these people would slit someone's throat for that.
1,500, dude. I can go to the grocery store, and it's just me, and I can buy bare essential stuff for the week. A couple Gatorades, dog food, a couple
Dog food's
bread,
been $60 freaking dollars.
70, 80, 90, 100 bucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just it's crazy. Do you know? So my budget. You know what our budget is for a month? We've got 2 kids, so a family of 4 for groceries, and we don't eat the best, but we eat okay. It's $1,000, bro. $1,000 a
That is
month.
ridiculous.
And dude, and that's
you have food stamps.
No, exactly. Exactly. Like, and we're not getting a ton of meat either. Like, I haven't had a steak in like a year. So I mean, we're talking hamburgers, potatoes to make her own French fries, all that stuff. And
when the
just
damn
gotten ridiculous.
the damn Dollar Tree goes up
to $5,
$1.25. Dude, I was buying some really good dog food, and when you notice things go up, $2, $3. Dude, this dog food went from $25 to $40.
God. I mean,
it wasn't $25 to $26.
And remember how they bullshitted us and the inflation's only gone up like 2%. It's like horse shit. It's gone up 2%. It's like gone up 15, 20%.
Bullshit. But our wages don't.
Exactly. By the way, you'll get a meets or below expectations review this year. Remember that crap? We all have to do it. I don't know if you have to do it in your corporate stuff. I have to do it, and we all have to jump through that BS. And it's all, if you meet expectations, you might get a raise of 1.5%. So,
all right. So we got our Trump back in the White House. Good podcast tonight. Good conversation. Any last words going forward? Anything you want to say as far as our country or what we're going to forward? Or
I hope this wakes the liberals up. I hope this wakes the people up that were just, we got to go COVID. Oh, we got to do this. Oh, we got to do that. Man, if you don't see the fact that Fauci got pardoned and all these things, and if you don't see it by now, you never will. You're one of those people. I tweeted out, if you believe that Elon went and actually did the Sieg Heil, if you literally believe that, then there's no arguing with you on any political basis. Your judgment on anything cannot be trusted.
They never, and I'm going to say this too.
Yeah, go ahead.
If the left stayed middle of the road, Trump wouldn't have sniffed the White House either time. But they get in, right. But then he gets inaugurated, and the day of the inauguration, they say Elon Musk did the Hail Hitler sign. They never, these girls on The View, they never learn.
No, they don't.
Stop doing that. They're stupid, but keep doing it.
They see the lens that they see the world through is nothing but racism. Everything is racist. So that's literally the way they see the world.
And that word is so watered down now.
Oh God, I can't. I hate it. I hate it.
I hate hearing the word. I hate hearing bigotry. I hate hearing, DEI. I hate hearing racist. I hate hearing woke. I hate hearing all. I know woke is a right term to make fun of the left, but
it means nothing anymore. It literally means nothing. So yeah, it's. But I hope that people get back to seeing truth for what, like, just truth for what it is, not what someone makes it out to be. I think we're getting there. I think Elon buying X is a great thing.
Great thing.
I think the fact that Joe Rogan's out there and has these 2 hour long, 3 hour long things, I contribute that win to Elon and to Joe Rogan. I genuinely do. The wins. That's just my opinion, but
Yeah. I
without
remember in
those,
si- I
go ahead.
remember in 16 when he won, it was more like a, hey, let's get in there. I was very emotional that night. It was great to beat Hillary. This time around, I felt different as far as it's a business trip.
Yep. Thank
Pack
you.
your
It's a
suit.
business trip.
It's not vacation.
Like
We're
let's get shit done.
the country's turning for the good. We're the conservative movement is at its all time best, and probably since I know Bush is a rhino and we can say he's a fraud,
Yeah.
but the conservative movement is the highest it's ever been since before Obama, and we are coming like the red wave. And they always say that thing. Do you ever get tired of winning? Well, it's constant. There was things
Yeah.
today that we won on, like
Oh,
it's
it was great.
constant. And I hope the country continues. I hope you get to the point where you know I think we are, but you can have a conversation about politics and not everybody up in arms about it. There's still some of those that are still, you know, they get offended because you can't hear their side, your side of the spectrum. You only got to hear their side of the spectrum. But we're changing. The country's changing. I think the next 4 years is really good. Now going forward, we can't be like the Democrats and not have a plan for 2028.
Yeah,
We
we
gotta
definitely
we
have
gotta
to have a plan.
find somebody that we can get behind and continue this run.
I
And
I
hopefully they'll
I
be out
think
of the Democrats will be out of the White House for a long
I
time.
man, I think Vance is your go-to. Vance has shown he's good. He's a millennial. He's a millennial guy like you and I. He was not
Blue
born.
collar,
Yeah, it's blue collar. Wasn't
blue
born
collar.
into greatness. Worked his way up. Like military guy. Like the dude, and he can talk. And he can talk in the fact of, hey, I see where they're coming from here. I agree there. Here's how I would do it. And you can't argue with a guy that says, oh, I think you're right here, but this is how I would do it. You can't argue with that. The way that liberals, they can't, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, so I think he's definitely your next play. And I'll tell you what, man, if Barron ever wants to get into it, that dude could legit.
Trump said he listened to Barron on a lot of stuff about young people as far as go on more podcasts, be on TikTok. Trump won a large percentage of young people in the votes. And
He
he
did.
credits that to Barron.
My daughter, my daughter will sit here and listen to like me rant and all that. Dude, my daughter is straight up cutthroat and like pro Trump person, and because they like, and you can't. Here's a good example. You can't hide things from a 9 year old. They know they're smart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
see through a lot of BS, and even she's extremely pro Trump and all that. And it's just these kids see it, man.
Well, it's
You
also
know,
the values that you're probably instilling in her. I've always
right?
thought that people that were raised very hard left weren't raised right. Like there's a certain way, and I also don't believe you. I also this would be another conversation for another day, but I also don't believe you can be a Christian and be liberal.
I don't either.
But we'll get in that
I
some other day.
we will, we will. We could sit and talk for 3 hours. We only got we
Yeah.
don't have that long.
Okay. Any last words? We're gonna roll off here.
Nah, man, dude.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me on. Love this stuff.
Anytime you want to jump on, just BS it. Come on. This was a good topic tonight. An hour and 20
Enjoyed it.
minutes. This is the You Got Sir podcast, season 6, episode 5. We'll see you back next week.